Imagine you're 25 years old. You get your first decent-paying job. Your salary is finally high enough that you can afford something you've always wanted. A brand new car. You walk into the dealership, sit inside that shiny vehicle, smell the new interior, and suddenly your old car feels embarrassing. The salesperson says, "Don't worry about the price. The monthly payment is only $650. And that sentence could quietly cost you $500,000. Not because the car itself costs $500,000, but because of what that monthly payment prevents your money from becoming over the next 30 or 40 years. Here's the crazy part. You might never feel like you made a terrible financial decision. You'll drive to work. You'll go on vacations. You'll post a picture with your new car. And every month, you'll simply make the payment. But while you're paying for the car, your money could have been buying something much more valuable. Your future freedom. Today, let's break down the car trap and how a seemingly normal car purchase can potentially cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars in lost wealth. Let's start with a simple question. Why do people buy expensive cars? Obviously, transportation is one reason. But if transportation were the only goal, we wouldn't need luxury cars. A $15,000 or $20,000 used car can get you to the same office. It can take you to the grocery store. It can take your kids to school. It can sit in the same traffic. So why spend $40,000, $50,000, or $70,000? Because cars aren't just transportation. They are psychological products. A car can communicate success. It can make you feel older, richer, more attractive, more successful, or more respected. And this is where the trap begins. Because when you buy a car, you aren't only buying a machine. You're buying a feeling. And feelings are expensive. The monthly payment illusion. Here's one of the biggest psychological tricks in personal finance. People don't think about the total price. They think about the monthly payment. Imagine two cars. Car A costs $25,000. Car B costs $45,000. You might immediately think, $20,000 difference. That's huge. But now imagine the salesperson says, "Don't worry. We can stretch the loan out. Your payment is only $650. Suddenly, the $45,000 car doesn't feel like a $45,000 decision. It feels like a $650 decision. And $650 sounds manageable. That's the psychology. Your brain is much better at understanding small recurring payments than massive future costs. The same thing happens with subscriptions. $10 doesn't feel expensive. $20 doesn't feel expensive. $50 doesn't feel expensive. But add enough small payments together, and suddenly your paycheck disappears. Cars simply take this idea and make it much more powerful. Because unlike a streaming subscription, a car payment can last for years. And once you add insurance, fuel, maintenance, repairs, registration, and depreciation, the real cost becomes much larger than the payment you saw at the dealership. Let's say you're 25. You decide to buy a car that costs you an extra $500 per month compared with a cheaper alternative. At first, $500 doesn't sound life-changing. You might think, I make good money. I deserve a nice car. And maybe you do. But let's ask a different question. What if you invested that $500 every month instead? Suppose, purely as an illustration, that your investments averaged around 8% annually over the long term. You don't need to understand complicated investing mathematics. The basic idea is simple. Money can make money. Your first $500 investment earns something. Then that earning can earn something. Then those earnings can earn something. It's like planting a tree. At first, nothing dramatic happens. But give it decades, and the tree becomes enormous. Using that simplified 8% example, investing $500 every month for 40 years could grow to roughly $1.6 million. Now, obviously, real investment returns are not guaranteed. Markets go up. Markets go down. There can be taxes, fees, inflation, and bad investing decisions. But the point isn't that a $500 car payment magically costs exactly $1.6 million. The point is that the opportunity cost of spending money today can be enormous when you give that money decades to compound. And that's the part most people never see. They see the car. They don't see the missing investment account. Let's say you spend an extra $500 every month on your car. You can see the car. You can touch it. You can drive it. You can show it to your friends. But you can't see what that $500 could have become. That's called an opportunity cost. And opportunity cost is one of the most important concepts in building wealth. Every dollar has two lives. The life you give it, and the life you could have given it. Spend $500 on a car payment, you get transportation and enjoyment. Invest $500, you get an asset that may grow over time. Neither choice is automatically right or wrong. The problem happens when you make the first choice without realizing what you're giving up. And here's another strange thing about cars. The moment you drive a new car away from the dealership, you still owe money. But the car itself is usually losing value. This creates an unusual financial situation. Your investment account can potentially grow over time. Your new car generally gets older. It gets more miles. It needs maintenance. And eventually, it becomes yesterday's model. Yet people often spend more money on the thing that's going down in value, while neglecting the things that could potentially grow. This doesn't mean everyone should drive an old car. A reliable vehicle can absolutely be worth paying for. If you need a car for work, family, safety, or transportation, buying one isn't a financial failure. The problem is when your car budget grows faster than your income and wealth. Now let's imagine something else. You buy a $25,000 car. A few years later, you get a raise. Now you make more money. So you think, I can afford something better. You upgrade to a $40,000 car. A few years later, another raise. Now you buy a $55,000 car. Then maybe an SUV. Then maybe a luxury vehicle. And something interesting happens. Your income increases, but your financial freedom doesn't increase nearly as much. Why? Because your lifestyle increased with your income. This is called lifestyle inflation, and cars are one of the easiest ways to experience it. When your income rises by $1,000 a month, instead of investing that extra $1,000, you might spend $500 more on a car, then $200 more on insurance, then $100 more on fuel, then another $100 on restaurants. Suddenly, your raise is gone. You got richer on paper, but not necessarily richer in freedom. There's another psychological factor hiding underneath all of this: social comparison. Humans naturally compare themselves with other people. You see your neighbor's new BMW. Your coworker buys a new SUV. Your friend posts a picture from inside a luxury car. And suddenly your perfectly functional car feels old. Nothing changed about your car. Your car didn't become worse overnight. Your brain simply changed the comparison. This is why chasing status can become an endless game. There's always someone with a more expensive car, a bigger house, a newer phone, a better vacation, a more expensive watch. If your happiness depends on being ahead of everyone around you, you'll never reach the finish line, because the finish line keeps moving. And here's something worth remembering. Looking wealthy and being wealthy are completely different things. A person driving a $70,000 car might have $100,000 invested. Or they might have $5,000. You don't know? A person driving a 10-year-old car might look like they're struggling. Or they might have $1 million invested. You don't know that either. The car tells you almost nothing about someone's net worth. It tells you what they chose to spend money on. That's it. And sometimes, the people who look the richest are simply the people spending the most. Let's bring everything together. Imagine two 25-year-olds. Let's call them Alex and Sam. Both earn the same salary. Both want a nice car. Alex decides to spend an extra $500 every month on the car. Sam buys a cheaper car and invests that $500 instead. Neither person feels dramatically different in the first year. Alex has the nicer car. Sam has a growing investment account. After 5 years, Alex has enjoyed thousands of dollars worth of transportation and lifestyle upgrades. Sam has built a financial asset. After 10 years, the difference becomes more noticeable. After 20 years, compounding starts becoming powerful. After 30 years, the gap can become enormous. And after 40 years, depending on investment returns, that seemingly small $500 monthly decision could represent well over $1 million of potential wealth. That's the real car trap. It's not. Cars are bad. Its small lifestyle decisions can become enormous financial decisions when repeated for decades. But there's an even deeper problem. The car payment doesn't always stop at the car. Let's say your car payment is $700. Because the car is expensive, your insurance is higher. Because it's newer, you might care more about keeping it perfect. Because you're driving a nicer car, maybe you start spending more on premium fuel. And because you're already spending so much on the car, another $100 purchase doesn't feel as painful. This is called spending normalization. Once your brain accepts one large expense, other large expenses can start feeling normal. That's why one financial decision can create a chain reaction. A more expensive car can lead to a more expensive lifestyle. And the lifestyle becomes your new normal. So how do you avoid this? Here's a simple rule. Before buying a car, don't ask, "Can I afford the monthly payment?" Ask, "What will this car cost me over 5 years?" Include everything. Purchase price, interest, insurance, fuel, maintenance, repairs, registration, and most importantly, the money you could have invested instead. You don't need perfect mathematics. You simply need to see the bigger picture. A $600 monthly payment isn't $600. It's $600 every month for years. And every dollar committed to that payment is a dollar that can't be used somewhere else. Here's another question I love. Imagine you lost your job tomorrow. Would your car still feel affordable? That's a powerful test. Because something can be technically affordable, but financially fragile. If one missed paycheck would cause your entire financial system to collapse, the purchase might be too expensive. Financial freedom isn't about buying the most expensive thing you can qualify for. It's about having enough flexibility that unexpected problems don't destroy you. What should you actually do? So does this mean you should never buy a nice car? No, life isn't a spreadsheet. You work hard. You should enjoy your money. A reliable, comfortable car can absolutely improve your life. The goal isn't to eliminate every enjoyable purchase. The goal is to stop accidentally sacrificing your future for things you barely care about. Before buying a car, ask yourself 5 questions. First, would I still want this car if nobody could see it? That's a great test for separating personal enjoyment from status. Second, what percentage of my income is going toward transportation? Third, what am I giving up to make this payment? Maybe it's investing. Maybe it's an emergency fund. Maybe it's paying off debt. Maybe it's saving for a house. Fourth, could I buy a reliable car for significantly less? And fifth, will this purchase make my life better 5 years from now, or just make today feel better? That final question is powerful, because wealth is largely built by choosing between temporary excitement and long-term freedom. The car is just an example. The same psychology applies to almost everything. The bigger apartment, the luxury vacation, the newest phone, the expensive watch, the daily food delivery, the endless subscriptions. The problem isn't one purchase. The problem is when your spending becomes automatic. Because wealth isn't usually destroyed by one giant mistake. It's often slowly redirected by hundreds of tiny decisions. And those decisions feel harmless because they're separated by days, weeks, and months. But put them together over 30 or 40 years, and they can become enormous. So the next time you see a beautiful car and think, I could afford that monthly payment, pause for a second. Don't just ask what the car costs. Ask what the money behind the car could become. Because that $500 isn't just $500. It could be a car payment. Or it could be an investment. It could be a status symbol. Or it could become financial freedom. It could buy you something today, or potentially help buy you options tomorrow. And that's the strange thing about money. The most expensive purchases aren't always the ones with the biggest price tags. Sometimes, the most expensive purchases are the ones that quietly steal decades of compounding from you. So buy the car you love. Enjoy your money. But make sure you're not financing a lifestyle while accidentally selling your future. Because the goal isn't to look rich at 25. The goal is to have choices at 45. And sometimes, the smartest car you can drive is the one that leaves your